Communicate better when you've had a few whiskies. Well, some of us do. Actually, after a few whiskies, some of us become highly intelligent and very good looking. The Whiskey Communicator of the Year, Dave Brew, is in the country and he's in studio with us this morning, talking all things whiskey this morning. He's here for the FNB Whiskey Live Festival that finishes tomorrow in Sandton in Johannesburg. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Evan.
Thanks for joining us. It's a bit early to be talking all things whiskey, but
a wee bit. You know, it's a good time to taste. It has to be said. You know, if you talk to whiskey blenders, or if I'm doing whiskey tasting in my office, I usually start round about this time because your senses are at their best this time in the morning. So
the water of life.
The water of life, yeah. Blessed. You know?
Now, you're a whiskey communicator. What is a whiskey communicator?
Well, I mean, I'm very honoured to have been given this International Communicator of the Year award. Basically, I'm a journalist, I'm a writer. I've been doing it for about 20 years. So I write about whiskey, I write articles, I write books. I do a lot of training, I travel the world spreading the word about whiskey. You know, which is a good job for a Scotsman.
It's a fantastic job for anybody. I mean, I envy you. I think it's a job I could do very well myself. So you go around the world, you test whiskies, and I'm sure you drink some of the very best whiskies, and you're here in South Africa to do pretty much the same.
Pretty much so, yes. And I've been coming to South Africa for over 10 years now. This is a fantastic festival, the Whiskey Live Festival. The biggest, the busiest, the liveliest in the world. And this is a fascinating market. It continues to grow. The value of the market grows. People are drinking better. But there's a genuine thirst, not just for whiskey, but thirst for knowledge as well.
We've got some pictures up here of the distillery. It's Bunnahabhain, am I right?
Yeah, well pronounced.
Bunnahabhain.
Yes, Bunnahabhain.
Bunnahabhain, yes. Tell us about this. I understand the 40-year-old is a very special whiskey and one of the more expensive bottles of whiskey around.
It's one of the more expensive bottles of whiskey. It's coming at 32,000 rand. But there's only 750 bottles in the world. Once that's over, it's done. The Bunnahabhain distillery is on the island of Islay, which is on the west coast of Scotland, next stop Canada, you know, so it gets a lot of weather, Islay. And it's got 8 distilleries. Bunnahabhain is on the east coast, and it makes a very gentle style of whiskey. Now, a lot of Islay whiskies are kind of big and strong and powerful and smoky. Bunnahabhain is this little haven of peace on the east coast. And this 40-year-old, which has just been launched, is a truly remarkable dram. I had some last night, and yes, it's great. It's fantastic.
I spoke to a whiskey master distiller from the Glenfiddich stable, and he told me that, you know, there's no specific way to drink whiskey. You drink whiskey the way you enjoy it, and in his opinion, expensive whiskey can sometimes be a bit of a con. What do you say?
Well, I think it's an important thing. I mean, age is not a determinant of quality, and just because something is older, it doesn't automatically mean it's better. But I mean, certainly, if you're dealing with something like this Bunnahabhain, it is a very genuinely rare whiskey. There's not a lot of it, but the flavours are remarkable, because you would expect after 40 years in cask that it would become very, very woody, and that's the problem with a lot of old whiskies. This, however, has evolved into a whiskey that's incredibly fruity. You know, like smells of guavas and mangoes, and it almost moves into a cognac direction. So it's one where the casks have just been very, very gentle with the whiskey rather than brutal with the whiskey. But yeah, I mean, your friend was quite right. You know, aged, you know, the older isn't always necessarily the better. You find the flavour that you like for the moment.
And then there's this myth, especially in South Africa, that if you're a whiskey connoisseur, that you have to drink the whiskey on the rocks with maybe 2 blocks of ice, and that would be the way to respect the quality of the drink. Is that right? I mean, the master distiller told me he likes it with a bit of appetizer, to be honest.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, you drink whiskey in the way that you want to drink the whiskey, to be honest. I mean, with the Bunnahabhain 40, for example, it's best on its own, without any water. You know, it's fantastic flavours. But really, you know, it's a wonderful, complex drink. But you know, it's just a drink, you know. So you treat it in the way that you enjoy drinking it. That's the important thing. There's so many rules that built up, and people are a bit scared about it. I mean, sometimes it's quite strong, and it can hurt, you know. And you see people, you know, it's about pleasure. It's not about pain, you know. So add some ice. I mean, especially in a hot climate, add some ice. In Scotland, it's a little bit cooler than it is here, so we would normally add a little bit of water. Kills the alcohol, allows the flavours to come up, and it's a lovely smooth effect that you get.
Then you can get that. You open it up a little bit. You get that fruit.
Exactly.
Tell us about what you're doing here, how our viewers can interact with you at the festival here, and what we can expect of the festival, really.
Yeah, well, the festival's on tonight and tomorrow at Sandton Convention Centre. Tickets are, I believe, still available. Friday is always a hectic night. Everybody comes out for a big party. And it's a chance, there's lots of distillers coming from all around the world, distillers from South Africa as well, from Drayman's, from Three Ships, from Baines. And it's a celebration of whisky. It's a chance for people who are starting out in their whisky journey to discover a little bit more, discover things out with just their own existing brands, their own favourite brands. We're not scary people. You know, we're here to help and to discuss. There's workshops going on. And lots of fun to be had.
Fantastic. Well, you know, today we've had a full show. You saw we had the holy water early, and we finished on the water of life. So
yes, exactly.
I can't think of an hour better spent. Dave Brew, whiskey communicator. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll try and connect with you at the Whiskey Live Festival.
Fantastic.
The festival, of course, is on until tomorrow night at the Sandton Convention Centre. But let's take a